As I have moved past my late teens and towards my mid-20s, I have started to become more aware of my state of mind and how my thoughts may affect me on a daily basis. Sometimes I can be really happy. Oh, that's not a good example. This is better. But sometimes I can be, well, not happy. And this has led to complaints about my mood and the effect it has on those around me. So I started thinking about how I could improve this. I quickly identified, at a glance, negative thoughts seemed to breed more negative thoughts, leading to a negative mood, resulting in unpleasant behaviour, and ultimately affecting those around me. So, if thoughts, P, then state of mind, Q. It was around this time of contemplation that we were assigned our self-experiment task in judgment and decision-making. What self-experiment should I do? I asked myself. The answer already existed. I had organically grown a self-experiment idea over the course of my post-high school life. As I alluded to before, the hypothesis is rather simple. If P, being thoughts, then Q, state of mind. I expect that positive thoughts will result in a positive state of mind, and negative thoughts will result in a less positive or negative state of mind. So, the idea was that I would wake up in the morning and then I would flip a coin. Will today be positive or negative? If I flipped heads, it meant a positive day, so I would focus on the positives. Yay! But if I flipped tails, it meant a negative day, and I would focus on the negatives. For the rest of the day, I would make sure to note any event or emotion that I experienced which corresponded with that condition. And I could note that on anything I had around me, a phone, a laptop, pen and paper, my hand, anything, as long as it was conscious. When the day was over, and just before bed, I would take some time to fill out a positivity questionnaire. The questionnaire comprised of 10 positively framed questions and 10 negatively framed questions. And I rated it from a scale of 0, being not at all, to 4, being extremely. So, what is the most hate, distrust, or suspicion you felt? I might answer today with 0, not at all. It's important to point out that in my original experimental design, I had myself taking the positivity questionnaire in the morning as well, before I flipped the coin to determine the condition for the day. I was hoping to find a change of score from the AM to the PM, but I could foresee potential carryover effects affecting the AM scores for the following day. It is for this reason I ultimately decided to only fill in the questionnaire of an evening. So after filling in the positivity questionnaire sheet and noting what condition I had been testing under, I input the scores into my Excel tables, and from here I was able to determine the mean values of the positively framed questions and negatively framed questions. I then calculated the overall state of mind score by finding the difference between the mean value of the positively framed question and the mean value of the negatively framed questions. In my data, all state of mind scores under the positive condition have a positive value, and all state of mind scores under the negative condition have a negative value. I then conducted a two-tailed paired t-test. I was able to conduct a paired t-test because although this experiment was conducted randomly using a coin flip to determine the condition, I ended up testing 18 days under the positive condition and 18 days under the negative condition. The test resulted in a p-value of less than 0.01, suggesting my findings are significant. Although this is discussed extensively in the essay, I'd like to draw your attention to a few biases or potential errors I have identified in my discussion. Firstly, the correlation is significant, as was indicated by the t-test. This suggests there is a relationship between thoughts and state of mind. However, this does not mean thoughts cause state of mind. Correlation does not equal causation. In the essay, I discuss how other factors such as depression, hormones, or exercise can have an effect on mood. This is a logic-driven experiment. If P, then Q. However, as with the issue of correlation and causation, Western logic is not always correct in its findings. In this case, I feel dialectical reasoning could help create a better understanding of the relationship between thoughts and state of mind. Finally, two important biases to keep in mind when performing a self-experiment is the illusory correlation and the confirmation bias. In the essay, I discuss the potential and probable effect these biases had on my experiment. Of course, when conducting a self-experiment like mine, I feel it almost impossible to avoid these biases. Which begs the question, is there value in self-experimentation?